What's up, guys? All right. I have a lot on my mind, and I really haven't been posting as much on the channel, but I think it would be good to get an upload, especially now with how I'm doing. Um, so I am struggling massively. Um, I think it's really with the depression, but I think it's so much a mix of OCD and depression that it's hard to really, quantify which one is, worse than the other. So I just feel like it's a double whammy. Um, um, that's going on right now. Um, and I just wanted to share how it looks like for me because a lot of times depression and I even think OCD in itself, it's hard from the outside when you see someone struggling. It's very hard to. Sorry, that's my car. It's very hard to just I may look happy or it may look like I'm doing okay, but what's going on in my mind is kind of like a complete different story. And to be honest, sometimes it I don't want to act like everything's just fine. Um, I don't feel like I should have to if I really am struggling. Um, so really, what's going on is I really deal a lot with the mental say like the mental thoughts, well, mental thoughts, mental compulsions. So really, just my mind is on overdrive, and I think a lot, think a lot, think a lot, think a lot, and it's really about stuff that's distressing to me. So unwanted thoughts, and so that's where I think, the OCD comes into play, but it's a lot different than what I am typically used to with my OCD. Um, and it kind of almost like mimics almost like a depression. Um, but I could see it definitely being depression too, because I am diagnosed with depression too. So it's very hard to explain that, but I do go to therapy, and it's something I feel like's been helpful in the past for sure. It's just really hard to obviously implement a lot of stuff when you're in the midst of depression, and it's kind of like a wave of up and down, up and down, up and down every day. Um, so really, just like a lot of the thoughts, and I may be going back and talking about some stuff that I already mentioned, but uh, I feel like regardless if this is your first video, it would be good to hear it, and I welcome you to the channel, of course. So a lot of times, I will my thoughts will really like jump around to various stuff. So I'll very much think that people are judging me, um, which is something I feel also, sorry, something that I feel is also kind of related to self esteem and me not having the best sense of self esteem, even though I've definitely been working on myself a lot. And I do think I've improved. I very much still struggle with my self esteem. So, just, I'd say a lot, and some stuff is just assumption based. People are judging me. People are judging me, or it's like, and the fact that I'm vulnerable, uh, and that I do share my feelings. I feel like is something where I fear being used against me, and I think it's honestly just like it's just rational, right? Because it's certainly possible people can use it against you. Um, when really all I want to do is just vibe and with people and just have I just want to go about my business and um So it's really hard on me dealing with this because literally I'm very in tune with other people's emotions. So I will think that other people may be angry with me, and or they might be mad, even though I didn't purposely at all do anything to make anyone mad. You know, I could just be like going through my own stuff and feeling depressed and kind of like, and I may come off as off-putting, but I really don't want to come off as off-putting. So I'll be like, damn, like people are now mad at me, and it's like really making a lot of assumptions, and it's something that I'll obsess and I'll harp on top of just feeling very like socially disconnected right now, where I I try very hard to make social connections, and I value it. I really like to socialize, but I have a fear of just people essentially not wanting to really be around me. And I have shame very much with suffering with anxiety and depression, OCD and depression for such a long time. I very much have a shame about it. I mean, it's really amplified when I'm in a low mood, where I don't, to make sense, where I don't want to go into what's bothering me, because I feel very much ashamed. Logically, I know I shouldn't feel ashamed, but I feel very much ashamed of uh, how I'm struggling, and I very much think the picture that people may portray of me is that I'm just my anxiety and depression, which another assumption I'm making, and I really harp on that, like I don't want to just be seen as my anxiety and depression. People can tell me, try to convince me that I'm not my anxiety and depression, but when I've suffered pretty much for a good part of like 16 years at this point with the duo, it's very hard to not see that, and that's why it's hard making connections with like older people, or just like people that I knew in the past, even, because really with that I'm like, damn, even if we didn't talk too much, perhaps they just knew me for my anxiety and depression regardless. Like, just based off of little interaction, they see me anxious and depressed, and they're like, oh, we don't want to be around that kind of person. um it kind of sounds silly, but it goes back into feeling like I am, in a sense, like a burden. Um, and it's very hard to break that pattern. Um, it's something that I've been trying to definitely work on with like DBT skills, dialectical behavioral therapy. Um, Something I really need to ramp up and address that. On top of just doing ERP, which is stuff that ERP therapy for OCD, which is essentially very, very critical and very difficult to kind of put that um, into what am I even trying to say? To just get the ball rolling again with that, because sometimes all it takes is a little slip up, and then you'll find yourself back in that ditch, and it's kind of a scary feeling. And I'm not saying like if I'm like struggling that necessarily means like every time I'm struggling, like, oh, it's a relapse, but I definitely haven't felt depression like this ever, to this extent. OCD, I have, but not for a long time. And it's something that I'm just trying to, like, I really have to hold myself accountable, and I have to realize, that I need to put it all into place. If I could just like see the progress, that would be really good. But sometimes I'll do all these things, like I'll exercise and I'll put in that work and I'll like socialize a lot more. I'll like engage with people, and which I really didn't do when I was really like anxious and depressed. Like, I didn't engage for the longest time with people. I didn't really socialize. So just doing that and realizing how big of a step that is kind of hard, believe it or not. It's kind of like I will downplay all of that, and I, like, from the outside, people can be like, oh, Matt's doing all these good things. Meanwhile, I'll be like, no, I'm not. Like, really, like, I appreciate like the positivity, but it's really frustrating when I can't see it, or most of the times I don't see it with the state that I'm in. It kind of goes up and down. So I really just wanted to give an update on how I'm doing, and it's really just like an everyday kind of thing that I just have to take day by day. And I know I will get there. But just sharing this, I feel like, is definitely helpful, because I don't really feel like I have the opportunity to share this with people, and this is kind of my platform to do it. So just appreciate you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.